Today on the Indie Wave, we speak with Anthony Wano. Anthony does everything for himself, from songwriting to producing, aiming to create energetic rhythms through a deeply personal approach to music making. He comes to us from the Jersey Shore and graduated from the Lake House in Asbury Park, where he started his trajectory for the stars in a rock and roll high school. He's now ready to graduate college and wants to hit the road to see America, and that's coming up tonight on the Indie Wave.
Welcome to the Indie Wave, the show where we peel back the layers of the music industry to reveal the core of the music we all love and appreciate. Coming from Klamath Falls, Oregon, we're working to show you the independent artists that are breaking the mold in music land and tearing up the interweb and charts to reach everyone in America. Welcome to the Indie Wave with your host, Christopher Jerk.
Hey there, folks. Welcome to the Indie Wave. This is a podcast, but it's also a television show. It's a broadcast. I don't know what this thing is. I don't have it on the podcasting networks right now because it's too expensive, and I'm not going to waste that money trying to pay a company to put my sounds out when I can put it up on YouTube for free and have everybody find it out there. So that is why this is not listed as a podcast anymore, and it is, in fact, a broadcast. But today we have a very interesting gentleman. He actually is friends with Ray Sheehan, who was on last week, and they know each other. They're from the same stomping grounds. And the truth of the matter is that this guy started out as a drummer, but now he is actually expanded into all kinds of different realms of the stage, and he is doing everything from soup to nuts to make his music. And let me read this little bit about him. From the shores of Brick, New Jersey, Anthony Gualano has steadily built a name for himself in the indie and alternative scenes. Under the project name Beach Daize, Anthony does everything himself from songwriting to producing, aiming to create energetic rhythms through a deeply personal approach to music making. His sound, while rooted in indie and alternative styles, often experiments with R&B, electronic elements, and a sense of nostalgia tied to his coastal upbringing. Starting from a humble setup in his bedroom, armed with a hand-me-down iMac and a lot of determination, Anthony taught himself how to write, record, and produce his own songs. His journey started out as a drummer and has since evolved into a full-fledged multi-instrumentalist and independent artist. And without further ado, please let me introduce you to Anthony Gualano. Anthony, how you doing today?
Thank you, Chris. I've been good. I've been doing good.
Well, let's dig into this thing because you cut your teeth at the Lake House program.
Yes, I did.
And,
I was there for
and
many
so tell me a
years.
little bit about what it's like to go to rock and roll high school.
So Lake House is a music school in Asbury Park, and I'm sure if you're familiar, someone you said before you're from the East Coast. It's a very music-oriented community. A lot of local acts, such as myself, I guess, got started there. I started going to Lake House probably about 2017. So like almost 10 years ago, I started going there. And then I left as a student when I graduated high school in 2023.
And now you're going to school at a college. What college are you at right now?
I'm currently at college at William Patterson University.
Okay. I know that school actually.
You do? Okay, good.
I've been through that campus.
Oh wow, what a small world.
Yeah.
I'm there currently right now studying sound engineering. As I've been doing that, it's been sort of one of my main focuses for a long time now. Especially, I took a lot of audio engineering classes in high school, and from producing my own music, just learned a lot and got a lot of experience even in college, like at the studio recording artists. But back to the Lake House thing that you had asked before, going to Lake House definitely like was a game changer, because prior to that I did go to a different music school, but I think I was just wanted to grow more a lot, and at that time I was only a drummer, and I took drumming pretty seriously. I didn't know what I fully wanted to do with it, but I knew that like that was what I was pursuing most at the time. And then I think my parents and I just found Lake House in Asbury, started going there as a student, and they put me in a band with like a lot of these other great artists that I'm still really close with today and talk to them. I had a band that I played in with them for pretty much the entire time I was at Lake House. So those like 6, 7 years. Um, but yeah, I mean, it definitely just took learning to the next level. And I think it also showed me beyond what there is beyond drumming,
Uh-huh.
if that makes sense. Because that was when I really started getting interesting in learning other instruments. So it was like I was going there because I wanted to, continue taking drum lessons, which I did, and I eventually passed. I think I was one of the first students to pass the curriculum there, like a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
But the biggest thing I got out of that was just meeting that many people that are in such a small hub, and they just know so much about the industry and music and other instruments and how this works and what that does, and it was
Well, there was a
big eye opener.
song back in the 70s that came out from the Ramones called Rock, 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 Rock and Roll High School.
Rock and
And
Roll High School.
you
Yeah.
actually did that. That is the amazing part of that. I think that is so
Is that
cool.
what the song's about? Like a music
It's
school?
it's yeah. The
Okay.
Ramones song is about a rock and roll high school, and basically
Interesting.
they just want to
Well,
get some kicks and meet
uh,
some chicks, and that's the whole purpose of going to high school for the Ramones back in the day. And I'm a huge Ramones fan, so I know
mm,
that song intimately. And then I Fame was a big show in the '80s back then, and
yeah, all that
that was
glam. It was
kind of
very
based on
glammy.
that. And so I mean, you
Right.
basically did that. That is so
Well,
cool.
it's an all ages school though.
Okay.
So you could start like they have like they have programs for like toddlers and infants. They put bands together with adults, people in their like 50s, 60s, and 70s that are learning. So it's the age range is all over the place. It's from all different scopes of life.
Now, did you do
Um,
like you had to have the math and the reading and all that kind of stuff, but you also had classes in sound engineering and as well as I guess band, right?
Well, the sound engineering that was in high school.
Okay.
Lake House isn't a high school. It's a music academy. So it's not like I was taking like history or math there.
Okay.
I went to a Votech school in Toms River, New Jersey for that, for sound engineering.
Okay.
That I started, well, it all started from Lake House because Lake House also has a recording studio there, which is a beautiful studio. Um, but then I got really interested in like that, in the production side and more sort of like the behind the scenes thing. And then by the time I was in eighth grade, I remember like applying to that high school because you had to audition
Yeah.
to get in. And I think I auditioned like with a drum solo and some old beats I had made on GarageBand at the time. I don't know. But so, so that also came out of it. It just, Lake House just, it showed me other avenues of music that I got into even more
Uh-huh.
than drumming, especially now. I mean, I still play the drums. I'm never going to stop, but like it was just crazy finding out how much there is out there. I don't think I would have found those other passions
It
had I not
expanded your
gone.
horizons, so to speak.
Yeah, infinitely. Yeah. It was,
Okay.
I mean, and even with college, like you never really stop learning.
Yeah.
The Lake House was sort of like that was where the chain reaction sort of started. Um,
Well,
so
it
yeah,
sounds
it was
like
a
you had
good,
a hell of an upbringing, and you've earned your chops at least in respect to you had to get through the school and you had to do all that kind of good stuff, and now you're in college. What are you
right.
doing right now? Where are you at right now?
I'm actually in my last semester
Oh,
of
really?
graduating. Yeah, I only had to do 3 years of school because my high school offered dual enrollment credits.
Okay.
So I sort of got ahead in a way with that. But when you say what am I working on right now, are you saying just like what am I doing in general or
Well, I know you
something
played
school
at
related?
Dingbats the other day
Yeah,
with Ray, and
yeah,
you're going to play another event on the February 7th. So
we have a lot of
you're still touring. You're still playing
yes, we
professionally.
do. We have a lot of shows lined up early this year because towards the end of 2025, we played a benefit concert for the Ray of Light Foundation in Nashville. That was in November.
Uh-huh.
So we were out there for a weekend. I had never been there before. A lot of us had never been there before, except one of my other bandmates who went to school there for a year. Um, but that was a great experience. So then after that, we decided to take a little break after that show because I was like, I felt like that was a good last show of the year
Uh-huh.
to end it in Nashville. But now we started up again, like literally the day after New Year's this year. We were at Wild Air on January 2nd. Then we went to Asbury Park Brewery the week after. You know, being away at college, I don't play in Asbury Park as much as I used to.
Yeah.
So like playing shows at home again was like nice. And it's
Well,
interesting. Like it's
talk to me about, I mean, Asbury Park is clearly one of the most storied places because of Bruce Springsteen and
yeah,
because of
yeah,
all the acts
The
that came out of
Brucer,
there.
yeah.
What is it
Right.
like growing up under that shadow?
Um, Honestly, I think when I was younger, I didn't think anything of it
Uh-huh.
just because that was just uh, you know, like when you're from when you're from that area, when you're from like the Jersey Shore area, like and you're young, you don't really think like, "Oh, wow, I'm living and I'm from an area where like that's
Royalty
like
came from.
yeah, like even like music and even just like the tourist attractions like Seaside Heights and Point Pleasant, like you're not thinking like, oh, I'm living in a tourist area. That didn't really hit until I started getting older and I had a lot more appreciation for it. I'm
Uh-huh.
personally not a fan of Bruce Springsteen's music, but I do respect his musicianship and his relentless work ethic. And you know, he definitely brought Asbury to life, you know, in the 70s with the Stone Pony and all that. I actually had a show over there in December with a few of my other buddies, not Beach Days related.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's great. You know, there's a lot of talent there and it's interesting to see even now like a lot of the artists coming out of that and gaining traction, like some people that like I even grew up with. So it's definitely a good area, a great area to be in if you're in music and you're in New Jersey.
But if you're a bricklayer, it's not as profitable, is it?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if you're trying to do the trades or something like that, I mean, there are obviously people that need plumbing done. There are probably people that need electricians done and stuff like that.
Right.
But you know, if you're gonna be raised near Asbury Park, you might as well do music, right?
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean we're always gonna need plumbers and electricians and jobs like that. But you know, I think it's just important for people to follow their passion and their intuition of whatever may be telling them
Yeah.
to pursue whatever it is that they want.
Well, talk to me about what you're in your last semester now in school, and you're obviously still playing out there. What is next for you? Where are you planning on going after graduation?
Um, After graduation, like show wise, there's definitely a lot of places that I do want to play at this year.
Okay.
I really want to get into playing like other states, like around the tri-state area, especially after we played Nashville in November. Because
Okay.
it's interesting playing in New Jersey, then like suddenly like now we're in Nashville in like a totally different part of the United States, and then we're back to New Jersey, which there's nothing wrong with at all. I'm saying that that was like such a, I think for me personally, it was such a dramatic shift, and like, oh wow, there's a lot out there like that I really want to
Well,
check
I
out.
said this
So
to Ray, and I'm going to say this to you as
mhm.
well: is that you guys got to start playing out here on the West Coast because
I would love that. I
I'm
would
not
love
going to drive
to.
back east to see you guys, but I will see you if you come out here.
Right. That's what I would love to do. I would love to come, you know, play a show in California or Seattle, you know, or like any of those big West Coast areas. But, you know, I think starting small is something I'd want to do. Like I would look into I want to right now I'm kind of looking into playing in like Delaware, Pennsylvania, like
Uh-huh.
things like that. And then I'll eventually like, you know, work my way back to like larger areas. Definitely would try to play in Nashville again if I could,
Uh-huh.
because that was great. So I would love to travel a lot. Traveling is something that's very important to me, and I enjoy doing it. So I'm hoping to do
Well,
a
you
lot of
got to
that.
plan your world tour eventually. So, get
Right.
yourself an RV and start traveling around the
Right.
United States.
Yeah, that would be crazy. You got to get like a little, got to get a little van or something. But
Well,
besides the
every rocker has a story of sleeping in the back of a van and trying
right,
to.
I've never slept in the back of a van.
Well, it's an
Slept in a
experience you
car, but
have to
never in the back of a van.
encounter. I mean, if you haven't done that, then you have to do it, man.
Right. Yeah, that's part of the it's part of the experience and the freedom of it. But besides the gigging side, I'm very studio and songwriting oriented
Uh-huh.
in a sense too. So I've been working on like tons of new music that I'm trying to put out this year. It'll be interesting to see how we play these new songs live because it's not like it's a totally different sound, but I think a big thing that I've been trying to do is add just a lot more depth and texture and other different sounds to it. Because I love all different kinds of music. I'll always be rooted in that indie alternative sound
Uh-huh.
that I guess that Beach Daze has become known for. But I have a lot of love for other different types of music too. So I think it's always good to
Are you gonna make the crossover to country?
I'm not a big country fan now. No, I'm not. Which is funny because when we were in Nashville, we went to the Country Music Hall of Fame. We saw Broadway with all the different country bars and things like
Yeah.
that.
I got to drive through Nashville when I was moving out west here, and we
Right.
stopped in Nashville, we stopped in Memphis, and it's really it's kind of like it's a lot like Asbury Park, I think, in a lot of ways, in that it has this history that you walk down the street and
Yeah,
like it
Nashville
just
especially.
blows your mind
Mhm.
away,
Yeah, we toured RCA Studio B, which is like where all those great country records and a lot of the Elvis stuff came out of in like the 50s and 60s, pre-British invasion. Um, But yeah, like I don't like country music, but when we were there, I was like, this is great. Like,
Yeah.
you're totally immersed in it.
It's like it's like the streets just kind of absorbed it, and you walk down there and you just feel the
Yeah. Oh
energy that
yeah. Yeah,
must have
you're in
been
it.
there back during the
Yeah,
day.
you're totally in it when you're there.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not used to that. I'm not used to being landlocked and like on the countryside as somebody from the Jersey Shore. That was like a big culture shock, but I loved it. It was great. I love getting out of my comfort zone.
Well, then,
Mhm.
as you make your way out west out here, and you do all kinds of amazing, cool things to get out here, shoot me a note and let me know what's going on because I would
I
love to
will.
follow your progress as you're traveling across the United States. And tell Ray to shoot me a note as well because
I will.
I want to follow
I'll
you
let Mr.
guys.
Ray
I
know
want
as
to know
well.
what's happening with you.
I'll let Mr. Ray know as well too. I'll see him in a couple of weeks.
Well, then,
I'll let
what do
him
we
know that
want
I
to?
talked to you.
How can people follow you if they want to follow you? What is the best way
Mm.
to check you out? Because you're not on Spotify. I didn't see a lot on Spotify about you.
Really?
And
I have a
I
Spotify.
saw a lot of YouTube about you. But
Mm. Yeah, a lot of my
how can
videos are
people
on
find
YouTube.
you?
The easiest way to find me is you can look me up on Linktree, linktree.com/beachdays. You could start there. You'll find everything's in that Linktree. All my social media profiles, like my Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the platforms that my music is on, Spotify, Apple Music, et cetera, et cetera. Because I'm surprised you didn't find it on Spotify because I believe that the music is on there.
Well, what I
Um,
probably did is I probably searched your name instead of searching Beach Days,
oh yeah,
and
then
that
that
was
was it.
probably my issue.
Right.
I was
Yeah,
doing it at
well,
6 o'clock this morning, so I wasn't totally awake
yeah, it's totally,
yet.
yeah, you're totally good. Yeah, but if you look up Beach Days on Spotify or Apple Music, you'll see it there. I also have like a separate YouTube channel that I just started a couple weeks ago. It's music, unrelated music. But it's sort of similar to this, sort of similar to what you're doing. Just have like a lot of different topics, all different sort of life and philosophy topics that I've been writing about. So you can check that out in the link tree too. But if you're looking for the tunes, they will also be on there as well.
Yeah, this afternoon I have a Henry Stoll is going to be on the program this afternoon, and I'm going to be filming
Nice.
a piece with him. And in truth, I think He's got some very rough, well, more rock kind of stuff, but he's also got a lot of, I think, spiritual stuff as well. So I'm going
Yeah,
to talk to him today.
that's awesome.
Tomorrow I'm talking to Post Omni, who is his name's Sean Graves, and he's got apparently he's a big gamer and he does a lot of music for games and stuff like that. So I'm hitting all the
That's great. That's
the
great. Talk to as many people as you can, and that's great. You're getting the show out there.
Well, the first season was it was all done with Glacier FM, and the truth of the matter is that they basically told me who I had to play, and I played it. Now I have an independent label that is going to be sponsoring this thing, so I don't have to necessarily follow what they want me to do, but I can include them if they want. But apparently I'm getting a name for myself as a journalist that likes to cover indie rockers, and
there you go.
That's great.
That's great. We really appreciate people that do that. So
well, the thing is that and I do a takeaway for the end of this episode, and what I like to think about is how democratic the world has become in terms of music. You don't have to go through a record executive anymore. You don't have to go through a television producer anymore. You can do what you want to do. You can find your own heart song and you can share it with the world and be found by virtue of the internet. And it's so much more democratic. Now, the converse to that is there's a lot of content out there and being found is tough.
Well, that's the problem. Everyone can do it, but then everyone's doing it.
It
becomes a lot more. It's like, oh, everyone can do that. Like the pros is that everyone can do it. The cons is that everyone's doing it. So it becomes
but that's also, I think that's if you have a talent for this. And I honestly, my wife was listening to you this morning and she's like, I like this kid. He's a good kid.
Oh, thank you.
And so I think, if you have the talent to rise above and be found, as long as you're playing the game properly and you're putting yourself out there, you will be found, and you won't.
Yeah.
The problem is that you're not going to make a ton of money doing this anymore because there's so many people out there doing it.
Right.
But at the same time,
1%. There's that 1%, but it's never zero. The number's not zero.
It's not at zero, but
that's how I look at it.
Well, like last season, I had Proverbial Kool-Aid up here, and he was actually a stock analyst or some damn thing like that before he decided he was going to quit his job and start a band. And he got signed earlier this past year, and so it is possible to get signed. And I like to think that this show helps do that to some degree. But it's just sharing this stuff and getting everybody to pay attention.
For sure.
To it,
it just starts with enjoyment. You got to enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
So and be your authentic self online, because people will see that in you. And I think that's where like the appeal comes. Like, yes, everybody's doing this or doing what they want to do. I always say, I think we're living in the greatest time to like be an independent artist, in my opinion.
Oh, totally.
It's never been more accessible than this. Now, like you said, on the contrary, it is accessible, so everyone.
It's accessible to everyone. Yeah, there's so much crap out there now, but
everyone's doing it. It's kind of like the Wild West right now. I feel like no one really knows what's going on, especially with like the way music is even visually perceived now with Instagram Reels and TikTok and things like that. No one really knows what's going to happen with AI. And even yesterday, and I'm taking a music business class. Yesterday in class, we were talking about how like the average TikTok view is like 1.2 seconds. So like people are just like barely even watching the videos anymore. So now it's this weird game of like, how can we hook somebody in the first second? How do you hook someone in like 1 to 2 seconds?
How do you do that with like 3 bars of music? I mean, it's impossible.
Then it ties into people. Right. Well, yeah, that was kind of what I was getting at, is like, how does that translate to music? Like, how can you still authentically be yourself and make what you want, but also if you have the goal of like appealing to an audience, then you also have to take that into consideration. I just think
we also have things like Spotify, and there's Pandora, and there's these streaming platforms where you could be hyper local in how you want to pay attention to your music. and they will program for you. They will come up with an algorithm, and they will program for you. So like if you wanted to follow you, or you wanted to follow Ray, or you wanted to follow any of the guys that we're going to be coming up on the show, I mean, it's possible to find your audience through those algorithms on Spotify and on Pandora, you know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's tough because the algorithms, they're not a human. So
Right.
sometimes it gets really confusing with what to push, you know. Everyone's trying to figure out the algorithm.
Yeah.
Algorithmic thinking. That's what I call it. Like, you know, what can we make that like the algorithm's going to push, and like what can we, you know, the algorithm, what, you know, is the algorithm going to pick this up, you know, which is fine, but I'm also wondering if like if we're my only concern with that type of thinking is that if creatives and artists are going to hit a certain point where like we're only making content so that the algorithm will push it, because at that point I would make the argument that it's not even for ourselves. Um,
And
so
I
like there's
kind
a
of think
healthy
you're right
medium.
about
There's a
that.
healthy
Is that
medium.
if you're programming for a
Right.
non-human entity, which is
Right.
the algorithm,
Right. You
you're
know,
not programming for the people, which is why live shows are so important, and it's so
exactly.
important to get yourself out there and get
And it's
noticed.
human connection too, like
Yeah.
live shows and talking with people. But like,
I don't think
yeah, I
there's
don't
ever
know.
going
It's
to be
interesting.
something that beats, you know, getting up on a stage and singing to a live crowd. I just don't think,
Yeah,
you know,
no, yeah,
that
absolutely.
really just
Yeah,
hits in it.
nothing will ever top live performance, especially now more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like you know, it's interesting. I'm wondering like how, especially, I mean, maybe it's already happening, but just how like all this is going to pan out in the next couple of years. Like the algorithm is like sort of becoming like this godlike figure with like content, and I don't know. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just an observation that I've noticed. Like
Well, and
previously doing
and
this.
that's problem with YouTube. I hate the fact that I have to be socially aware with what I'm doing with this show and stuff like that, is because, you know, the algorithms
It's
just
right,
don't pay attention.
right. Well, it's
But
insane how different YouTube was like 10 years ago compared to now.
yeah, it was all cat videos and porn,
Yeah.
but
Well,
now it's
also you could, yeah, you could literally post anything you want on YouTube like 10, 15 years ago. It was just a totally different world. But
yeah.
now, obviously, with monetization and these other platforms that are, if not more popular than them, now YouTube is like they get TikTokified, I think. Like now they have YouTube Shorts and Instagram has Reels. Like
Yeah.
Instagram and YouTube and all these other and Facebook, they've been around way longer than TikTok, but like because like this sort of medium of like short form content is just so dominant in today's world, especially as an artist or anyone who's doing anything creative. Like now these other platforms are playing catch up, and now a lot is changing. And you know, it's just like you said, like you got to be not careful, but just like you don't know what's going to get taken down or what's not. So I understand that sort of
Well,
that thinking.
and that's something that I run into all the time with this, is I get hits on YouTube all the time because the artists all have followings and they all have people following. And so I get hit because of copyright violation, but I want to share your music and I want
Right.
people to assimilate your music with
Yeah,
you.
my own songs got copyrighted on TikTok like a couple weeks ago for some
Oh,
reason.
really?
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Well, it's just a
Like,
modern world we're
whatever.
living in right now, and
Mhm.
it's super confusing on how to be the master of this. But
Yep.
I think what you have is raw talent, and raw talent
Thank you.
will win out no matter
Really
what.
appreciate that. Really appreciate that. It's a great sentiment. I appreciate that, Chris.
Well, they're yelling at me on YouTube, on Zoom, to shut this thing down because I only have 8 minutes left or something like that. But
Totally fine.
right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a couple of your clips, and I'm going to get your music playing so that people can find out what you do and what you sound like.
Sweet.
And then I'll do a takeaway, and we will have a hopefully pithy but poignant conversation about what the music
Great.
industry is looking like now.
Yeah,
And
for
we'll have
sure.
this out hopefully in the next week or so. And
Awesome. Yeah, you have a
Friday.
YouTube channel that I could find this on when it comes
You
out?
will find it at the Indie Wave. Yes, that is
Indie Wave. Awesome.
And we're also on Facebook. If you want to follow us on Facebook, all
I
kinds.
personally don't have Facebook,
Hit
but I will.
hit
I'll
that
give you-
subscribe button on every platform and get me found, because
Yes,
I wanna
sir.
make
I
money with
will.
this
I
thing.
will. I will go subscribe to you immediately after this.
Okay. Well, it's such a great opportunity to talk with you, because I had no idea the lake house existed. I had no idea that, where this was all at. And now that I'm edified in that, I think I'm a smarter, better person for having known that.
Thank you. I also think I'm a smarter and better person by hearing, about your thoughts as well about, the
Well, this
person
has been a great conversation,
and
and I
that.
want to thank you for joining us. And now,
Thank you, Chris.
without
Truly.
further ado, let me come up with a couple of clips that symbolize your music, and then we'll be back for a takeaway. So thanks for joining me,
Sweet.
and we'll see you guys again next time. Klamath Falls is a lot of things to a lot of people, but the growing music industry in Klamath Falls is one thing that might surprise you. Thank goodness we have a music store on Main Street to meet the needs of musicians everywhere. A music store on Main Street specializes in services on stringed instruments and pianos. We have the largest selection of in-stock strings in Southern Oregon. Our family-run shop since 2011 has offered internet pricing with small-town service, including new large items like guitars, amps, electric pianos, effects pedals, and more. So stop in today at 1029 Main Street in Klamath Falls or call 541-205-6633.
Hi, we're Beach Daize here at WTSR Underground. These are our songs No Clue and Beach Daize. Open your mind. I want you to throw it all away. You still know that things have been the same. Please just go back into my head. It's even worse when you need me instead. And don't you know, you're my lasting aspiration. You should go, and when you're gone, just close the door behind you. She doesn't really care for him, so there is nothing he can do. The people want them to be seen, but she just wants to run away. He goes and spends the night away, hoping that she will want to stay. She doesn't have a place to go, she'll sit around a bit and wait. He wants her feeling comfortable. He wants to watch the sea keep low, but she just isn't into that. She'd rather hang out just 3 times. He'll let it go, but it's hard to forget. She'll be living free of all the stress and heaviness.
On tonight's takeaway, they say Asbury Park is built on ghosts and echoes. You walk down Cookman you pass the stone pony and you feel the weight of everyone who came before you. You feel like you're chasing a shadow. But then you walk into 619 Lake Avenue. The Lake House program isn't about the past, it's about the right now. When you're in those rehearsal rooms, it doesn't matter if you're 6 or 60. It doesn't matter if you can shred like a pro or if you've never held a drumstick in your life. What matters is the core. The moment the four strangers, hit that first chord together and realize you just created a sound that didn't exist 10 minutes ago. People ask how this leads to greatness. They think greatness is a Grammy, but here, greatness is the kid who was too afraid to speak in class finally stepping up to the mic at the big gig and screaming their lungs out because they found their voice. It's the late night sessions in studios upstairs watching the VU meter jump, realizing that your song, your story, is finally being etched into the world. Asbury doesn't give you anything for free, you have to earn it. Lake House gives you the toolkit. They give you the mentors who toured the world, the engineers who know how to capture the lightning in a bottle, and a community that won't let you play it safe. They push you out of your shell and onto a stage at the Wonder Bar or the Saint until timid isn't in your vocabulary anymore. Greatness isn't in a destination. It's the discipline of the rehearsal. It's the bravery of the songwriter. It's the way we look at each other when the song ends and the room is silent for just a second before the applause hits. Students don't just learn notes, they learn songwriting, engineering, production, and the business of music. The Big Gig, a semester-end showcase where students perform at legendary Asbury Park venues, building immense confidence and stage presence. Being in the same building as Lake House recording studios means students are constantly rubbing shoulders with professional artists and producers. The program fosters a join the band mentality, teaching collaboration, leadership, and empathy, traits that lead to greatness in any career path. Well, that's the Indie Wave for this week. Thank you for watching, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow us on Facebook. And as always, find your own wind and sail far, do good, and have fun. I'm Christopher German, formerly That Sailing Guy. We'll see you next time.
Closing time blues.